Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Guys, this show is so weird, and I think I figured out a little bit as to why it's the way it is. Seemingly we got another Netflix show that, since they like to do things their own way, I would imagine they're trying to release a dub with this show, which I'm not angry about. I love me some dub, so my dub anime people can have themselves a good time and get to watch them some dope anime that deserves to be dubbed in the first place and even make it to Toonami. But with Netflix having the rights to some of these shows, it only makes it that much harder for us to understand their schedule and understand when and how they're going to put stuff out. Because think about it, they have Baki, they have the gambling show with the girl that gambles in the school. They have this supposedly, um, and they have Seven Deadly Sins. You know, they have all these animes, but the main thing they focus on is their um, live action. They drop Black Summer, they drop Kingdom. They have a lot of Netflix originals, so to understand that aspect of the business makes a lot more sense to me why I saw 2 days ago the show was supposed to be out at like 8 o'clock in the morning till all of a sudden today is the first time I'm actually seeing it being released to the public, so I can't really trust a schedule for this show. So I mean, I'm not like, oh man, I can't even plan the time. I don't care. As long as the show drops, as long as I get to watch it, as long as I get to talk to my anime people. So I think this is probably the worst case scenario for anybody in this show, and they just show us why it's the worst case scenario. Why it's the worst case scenario, you ask, is being the friend to this main character is by far the worst thing that could happen to you. Not, I say best friend, but really being someone that you have things that are valuable to a main character. I really don't know what this man is to him, but he has gotten in the worst situation I've ever seen in my life. Not to mention the fact that our main character is pretty young, seemingly at heart, and seemingly just like looking at him. So I wouldn't be able to tell if he was like 24 or older. If he's older than 20, I'll be shocked. So we have that, and then he's just in this store with Zero, and she's outright calling him Papa, like nothing's wrong with it. And this is all in case so they can get themselves some discounts. Like, I honestly was just dying the whole episode, even though my phone was buffering because I watched One Punch Man. And after you watch an anime, you can't just watch another anime and enjoy it. You gotta buffer. You gotta suffer. So this man who pretty much knows he's in an anime, or at least knows he's in a show, to the case where he can say, hey, start the flashback, gives us a pretty good explanation and rundown from his perspective, just what he's been dealing with, just what type of person this guy is. And it's not pretty. We learned that because of all of this, no one really is safe to be, in some type of relationship with this guy. If he actually cares, he doesn't know how to tell you, like, hey, don't go, just do what you're doing here, or something along those lines. He's just not that type of vocal person. So instead, he will sabotage everything you own. He will blow up your bike, or he'll cut the brakes off your bike. He will blow up your boat and even change the wind current while you're trying to fly. But instead of just saying, hey, you probably shouldn't go out there, he'll do all those things first, because that's just how this man seems to be. Um, but yeah, I honestly think it's funny, it's clever. I mean, to be fair, there's not a lot of people in this show that we've seen him so persistent. He said this guy's persistent. This man is. How are you finding him? How are you doing things perfectly at these moments to sabotage him? You know what I mean? Like, he clearly just didn't want this man to go to that island because, as he is, he knew how trash his survival skills probably were, seeing how the first time waist deep in a hole and he can't get out. You know, like, that's clearly his survival skills, and that's what this main character already knew from the jump, just from seeing him, just from meeting him. And that's what really makes this show, like, really make it made me question why they were showing me this. Why is this important? And I feel like it's definitely showcasing that he has somewhat of a soft side, and he might not even know it himself, and that's why he even like talks Zero into helping him and going along with his plan. I mean, they went so far as to act as if they weren't gonna get discounts to then drop something on Zero's head to get a discount. Like, I'm so confused. So it was an amazing episode, just for the case of like relaxation, just for the case of showing us that yeah, this show is got really dark elements about it, but it also needs to have some light. And I think this character who he buys stuff, who really he taught us more about his actual ability because of this character. Uh, he needs to pretty like for instance Piccolo's outfit or Asta's sword, he needs to touch these things so he has an understanding of how they're actually like feel, how dense they are, what's inside of it, stuff like that. And boom, he can make it, you know. So very awesome overall way of giving us this information through a funny episode, even if they probably weren't trying to do that. I don't know. I'm a sucker for these types of episodes where they just go about teaching us whatever and however they can, and then once we're done learning all of these things that they're teaching us, we either see it translate into a further episode why he's like that, or we see that he stops being like that and starts changing his ways of telling people that he actually likes that he doesn't want them doing certain things so they can be safer. I'm not sure. That's just my that's just my guess of the day for him. But I honestly want to see what the heck is going to be the end all be all of like the end of this. Like, are we going to get a show where it's just this? Like, it's just um, people living this lifestyle of trying to go there for their own personal gains, and every time they go there for their own personal gain they like fail and we see, you know, our boy save them. Is that going to be all 12, you know, all of the episodes, or is there something much bigger building up? And I'm praying we're going to get that much bigger thing this next episode coming up, because we literally get to see what his, you know, well, we already know the name of his teacher or like his guardian, but we finally get to understand just what it means of why he's separated from this guy. Why is he alone? Why is it just him and Zero, and why isn't he with the guy that he supposedly started this all with? Not to mention the guy that he started it all with, they were sleeping at on this island to protect like everybody that was coming to it, you know, and went from that to now they just chill. So I'm really interested to seeing what happened overall with that. Not to mention, he has like a cat or something, and it looks like his teacher like attacks it or something. So we could be looking at a really huge grudge between these two, and maybe that being the end all be all of the story, trying to find him and where he's at. but at the same time, it looked like they were floating above the sky. So I'm not sure. I'm just really interested in this series, and I hope you guys are too. I will continue to keep you posted on anything I see in this show slash any nuance that might be coming from what I learn. I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I already dropped One Punch Man, so I hope you guys have supported that and letting me know how you guys are feeling about One Punch Man. No Black Clover this week, simply because it was a filler, and I did not feel like watching the girl go through a case of like some mushroom thing. I just couldn't pull myself to care. So not doing a review on Black Clover simply because of what that was. I just didn't care to watch it all. Not to mention, I skipped to the end and saw a really cool picture, so I'll probably post that on my anime Amimo. So if you see the pictures for this week's episode and you want to see something on Black Clover, I probably will post it. But it's not anything like crazy, crazy. So with all that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, and with that, I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.